Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the broadcast today. It is Thursday. And Mark, on the line, you might want to turn off the entry notices there. I'll go ahead and put that off speaker. That was a good reminder for me. Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the broadcast. If you're just joining me live today, go ahead and tell me where you're calling in from. And it's always fun. I've got a 30-day challenge for you guys today, so I hope you're ready for it. Good morning, Whitney. The challenge begins, guys. Good morning. It's great to be back. Great to be here. Hello, hello, hello. Chiptown. All right, Donna. Well, never heard of Chiptown before, but we'll take it. Fantastic. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Carol. Welcome to the call today. All righty. Get started. Hi, Emily. Hello, Jane. Hi, John. All right, so guys, you guys can share on here and speak back and forth. And if you enjoy this broadcast, certainly feel free to share it. Good morning, Meg. Hi, Jeremy from Canada. Welcome to the call today. Just want to share with you something that's going to change your thinking, I hope, from stinking thinking to positive thinking. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let me just go ahead and swipe these. They get distracting for me because I love people so much. The key is your success, guys, is directly related to what you're willing to give or your services, right? So I want to share a little bit with you today that hopefully is going to transform the way any stinking thinking. I think it was Zig Ziglar coined that phrase, stinking thinking. And I'll tell you, I haven't listened to much of Zig Ziglar, but I encourage it because I know he's a great man. And what I have heard of him in the past has been awesome. He's got some great books out and he's a great motivational guy of our time. Stinking thinking really messes you up. And I want to talk about that because I have a tendency to watch people that will find something negative out of almost everything. We've all heard of that before, positive, keeping the glass half full instead of half empty. But yet, it's most likely, and I forget who mentioned recently, I was listening to something or reading a book, that 95% of people tend to go negative. And as I read that, I thought to myself, my goodness, how could that be? When you have a choice, you have a choice of what's positive or what's negative to focus on. You might not have a choice as to what is happening around you. There could be some things happening in your life, and quite honestly, they could be as negative as can be, and there's really nobody's going to dispute that you're going through a valley. But yet, what you focus on is everything. If you're going through the valley, there's a lot of beautiful daisies to focus on. There's a lot of beautiful green and beautiful things to focus on, right? And so as you're going through, that's what you want to do, is continue to go through. I remember listening to a song by a great gospel music. He said something like, if you're going through hell, keep going. Go through it. Just keep going through it. In other words, focus on where you're going. And so what I'm going to propose now over the next 30 days is something interesting, because we become what we think about. I want to repeat that. We become what we think about all day long. What we're focused on. What are you focused on? What are your goals? What do you want to become? Who is it that you're striving to be like, for example? Sometimes, and it's not a bad idea, to have somebody in your life that you, maybe a mentor or somebody that's had great success at what you're looking to accomplish, and maybe that person, you align with that person fully. And there's something about them and you want to become like them because they've proven that they've had that success before you. That's a good thing. And then you take all of the positive things. Like I've heard people say, I don't watch or listen to Christian TV or radio. And I think to myself, and I've said this to people, I said, well, if you're solid in the word, which you never want to think you know everything, because that's cocky, and of course the word is alive, but yet if you're solid and you have a basis and you're in tune with God, you can actually discern things. And what happens is there's a lot of good stuff that you can pull and throw out the bad stuff, right? So I always like to say on the tendency, and I was speaking to my nephew last night, yesterday, because it was his birthday. He's actually a year older than me. Or I'm sorry, this particular nephew is a week older than me. I have 2 nephews coming from a big family that are older than me by a year or a couple of years, actually. That's what happens when you're one of 10. Anyway, this nephew that's a week older than me, I pointed out to him, I said, you're always positive, like perpetually your focus from what we're not in close contact now, but he's always been focused on positive things. And I was commending him for that, because most people, because I had just heard or read this statistic, that most people focus on negative. And I thought to myself, how can you focus on negative? Why not give the benefit of the doubt? And last week I spoke about that it's actually healthier for ourselves. If you want to be selfish about it, it's healthier, and we can become more productive when we're healthier if we are deciding. And I gave the example about the woman who cut you off. You're on point to go to deliver this most life-changing speech that's going to change the trajectory of your job, and you're all in a zone, and you're envisioning yourself as you're driving down the freeway delivering this message, and somebody frantically was driving like an idiot. You're just so mad because she cut you off, she cuts off somebody else, and you see her go off the highway. And for those that weren't here last week, what that would do is set you out of your zone. That's why in sports we call a timeout. If the other team's getting ahead, I want to break their momentum, and I'll call a timeout. Here, the timeout wasn't his own decision. It was the decision of some frantic driver who doesn't know how to drive, who frantically cut off somebody else in the next lane, and he watched her progress through 4 or 5 lanes and off the exit. And he just started to focus on that. But then I said, but what if he found out later that person was a woman who had an infant in the back seat who was choking on something? And how that would have affected his perception or his ability to process and receive it or deal with it. I think he would have had a lot more empathy at that point. And I think that's what's going on. We have so many opportunities to focus on what's a distraction or what is a negative and focus on the glass half empty, or we have the opportunity to focus on the glass being half full. In other words, giving people the benefit of the doubt is so powerful for you because it allows us to stay in the zone. And so that's why when we're in the zone, I pray the other coach doesn't call a timeout when I'm coaching a basketball game, right? I pray he doesn't. If he's a smart coach, he will. If we're in the zone and we're scoring and we're coming down and we're scoring again, it always blows my mind when an immature coach will call a timeout on his own success. He's having a run and he calls a timeout. That always blows my mind. And I think that what's happening is he doesn't realize what it means to, or he had something else maybe. Give him the benefit of the doubt. See, I can't even help myself. I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I share that with you because for the next 30 days, we become what we think about all day long. What we're focused on. What are we focused on all day long? What I found out is that in life and as we walk through, you're going to be able to relate to this. Courage is an admirable way to function, a way to carry ourselves with courage, right? And a lot of times we think that the opposite of courage is cowardice. like you're a coward, you're afraid, you're fearful, you're not willing to step out and take some action steps, take some risks. Guys, life is full of risks. You might as well take them, right? But I believe the opposite of courage is conformity. And I believe that look around us. I mean, even there's businesses thriving on the fact that we've become a society of conformity. For example, franchises. People they want to know that it's going to be the same thing. People don't like to change. They conform. They dress alike. They act alike. They talk alike. There's not that large percentage. It's the small percentage. But remember, it's the point. Well, I'll give it 5%. 5 out of 10. I want to bring you to the 5 out of 10. Why not? Why can't you be one of the 5% in this world and make a difference? And I believe it's available for everyone, because as we start to realize that what we think about, we bring about, we become. People are telling me they can't find me on Facebook. That's because Facebook has new algorithms that you want to just like scream. I will tell you that conformity is the opposite of courage. So if you're trying just to be like everybody else, I'm going to propose this. No one is happy unless they're moving towards a purpose, towards a direct goal, something that you're looking to accomplish in life. I don't know what that is. Whatever it is for you, what happens is if we would take, and this is my proposal for the next 30 days, I want you to take an index card and I want you to write on it exactly what your goal is. And you don't need to show this to anybody. But in the process, I'm going to share a few more things, so don't go anywhere. There's on one side of the index card, I want you to write what it is, where you're going, and what you're looking to accomplish in your life. Like, make it big. It might not happen in the next 30 days, but you won't believe who you become in the next 30 days if you'll follow the guidelines I'm going to give you here as we roll along. But before I do, I want you to know that on the opposite side of this index card, I want you to write out something right out of the Bible. It says, ask and you shall receive. And you can even make it your own. Ask and you shall receive. Ask and I will receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. I'm going to ask you to do that. On one side you're putting that, and on the other side I want you to see the scripture. And what I want you to do every day is carry this around. Or make a couple of them. Have one in your car, one on your mirror. And if it's on your mirror, for example, when you're getting ready, have both sides that you can see both sides. And it might be something as simple as, I am the most incredible communicator on the planet. Whatever. I mean, I am a great communicator. I am this. I am the manager now. Or whatever your goals are in life. Whatever it is. But then I want you to think in terms of, where is that bringing you and what is the ultimate goal? So for example, I want you to start to think about those things and to live them. In other words, see yourself already at that point. Calling forth those things that are not as though they were. Saying something that maybe is not true, but it will be true because you're going to stand for something. Because if you think in negative terms, if you're thinking negative, by the way, you're going to get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you're going to get positive results, right? If you're not thinking at all, you have nothing, no goals at all, you don't arrive anywhere. And I want to liken it to, a plane or let's be safer, a ship that's going to leave the harbor. And you've got the captain and the crew and everybody that's getting on the ship. Everyone knows where this ship is going and when it's to arrive. Right? Can you imagine a ship leaving a harbor without a crew, without a captain, just turn on the motor and let it rip? It's going to probably crash into something, right? Or land on some deserted island if it does make its way out of the harbor. But the key is if we have a destination, your mind will come to your aid to assist in helping you to get to that destination, whatever it is. But if you don't have a direction and a destination, you're not getting there. It's proven. The 5% on this planet, and it's always measured in income because that's how we measure things. But success is relative as well. So it doesn't have to be that. If I think of Mother Teresa, I don't think that she was necessarily, we're going to measure it by a monetary thing, and that's beautiful. I'm totally fine with that. But success, whatever it is for you, is relative, but yet there's 5% of, so 5 out of 100 people write down their goals. Guys, it's proven. People with goals succeed. People without goals fail. So why are we not doing this? Okay, so, and again, the mind, which we have to guard our mind. As a matter of fact, I want to read this quick to you, right out of James. I want you to hear this. We put bits in horses' mouths that they may obey us. So you have a huge animal like a horse, you're on its back and you're using a bit to guide this horse, all right? We turn their whole body. Look at ships. So I just mentioned ships, right? Although they are so large and driven by fierce winds, they are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot desires. Well, there has to be a pilot. There has to be a destination. Where does the pilot desire? That is exactly determined. You don't just go haphazard in a vessel like that. And even so, the tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles. The tongue is so set among our members that it defiles the whole body and sets on fire the course of nature. And it is set on fire by hell, right? But no man, it says, can tame the tongue. It is an unruly evil full of deadly poison, right? Take captive our thoughts, take captive our mind. Let me talk about our mind for a second. Our mind is like this fertile soil. If you think of a farmer, and he's going to farm the land, and he's got seeds to put in he's got fertile soil. He still has to tend to it, but the soil doesn't care what he decides to plant in it, whether it's green beans or a poisonous plant. It doesn't matter what he puts in the soil doesn't care. It will produce from what he sows into the soil. The mind, just like the soil, doesn't care what we put in it. It'll produce based on what we sow in. And that's why I propose that if we're not careful about what we're thinking about, what we think about, we bring about. What we say, worse, right? It says the tongue full of evil. Well, how about we guard our tongues and watch? Because what we say, the Bible says, call forth with our words those things that are not as though they are. So on your little card, if you have the things you want on your little card that you will achieve, and be as specific as possible. I remember in my early 20s when we were introduced to an idea and a concept to set ourselves free, because that drives me to be free, to be able to be and spend time with my family and my kids and my husband, and to have the freedom to travel. What is it for you? To have the freedom of choice, to live where we want to live, right? To be able to travel when we feel like it and want to, and to be driven that way by, for us, it's be guided by the Lord. But in our early 20s, what I did was every single person that I met with, I called it forth. I didn't even realize what I was doing, but I said to every single person, and part of it was, and listen, you have to thank your enemies sometimes. Because whatever you're planting in your mind or in your fertile soil, your mind, can you imagine? This is the greatest thing ever, is our mind directs everything, right? But it doesn't matter if you had a cup of coffee. And let's say my enemy came and put sugar in my coffee. I'd have sweeter coffee. Big deal. Well, I like it. But if my friend, my best friend, put strychnine in my coffee, it would be a disaster. I'd be dead. My point, whatever you're putting in your mind or what you're allowing to come in our minds, we can't allow people or circumstances or situations to take us over, because that's what'll happen when people put things in or we're saying things. We must control, take captive our thoughts. We cannot allow our thoughts to go negative. So for the next 30 days with this profession on your card, I want you to also start to realize that you have to start over. If on day 17 you start thinking negative thoughts, this is part of the challenge. We've got to guard our minds. We can't allow every hiccup in life to get in our way. We can't allow the fact that something happened that's out of our control. I shared something recently and I got mad. Like, I got mad that I went out of our way to go get this uniform from somebody when we were going to a tournament. We met the people and there was an exchange of kids from cars and things happened, and I thought that my daughter grabbed the uniform and we didn't. And we get all the way 4 hours away and we don't have the uniform. And I was so mad. And then I was like, okay, quickly, my mind went to solution-based. It went quickly. So I was mad for an instant, but it's an instant. It says, the Bible says it's okay to be angry, but we still have to control, right? What is the outcome of our anger? Sometimes there's a righteous anger. It flares up. Like, for example, so my mind went, let me finish that thought, to solution, which was, okay, which one of your parents is coming out here? And quickly went to solution and arranged for my assistant to get the uniform to this parent, and it all worked out beautifully. But I could have just dwelt on this negative. I could have dwelt on the fact that, how stupid is this? Listen, if you're asking your mind a question, it will answer the question. What? So I have a kid. Why are my shots not dropping? Some of you say, why am I so stupid? I can't believe I said that. I'm such an idiot. All these types of negative comments. Guys, your mind will answer questions. Why am I so stupid? Well, it'll answer the questions. Why do I stutter? It'll answer the questions. Why am I not having success at this? It'll answer the questions. Conversely, if you focus on different questions, ask yourself different questions that are more empowering, like, why am I so great? Why am I having such success? Why are people attracted to me? Why am I so happy all the time? Why do I have so much energy? It'll answer it. But again, I can even take it a step further and have you on your card, and it can be a list of things. I have so much energy. I sleep like a baby. I love to be alive. How are you today? It blows their mind every time somebody asks me. I'm phenomenal. How are you? They're like, phenomenal. Every day above ground, I'm phenomenal. I'm here to make a difference in the world. Whenever I say all sorts of crazy stuff, that's fun. But that's what I believe. I believe I'm here to make a difference in the earth. I'm here to help people. And your income is directly correlated to your service. How many people are you helping today? How many people? And see, if here's the other thing, and then I'm going to come to a close. I'm not going to make this a long message today. One last thing that I want to share. Do on this card, what you're going to do for the next 30 days, do it better, more, greater. Do it with such enthusiasm, such focus, whatever it is for you and your business, whatever explodes what you do. You go in and you're happier, you're committed, you're staying the extra hour, extra 2 hours, you're waking up earlier. There it is. Wake up early, an hour early, and write out. That's the time when you'll have ideas and thoughts from God himself that'll allow you to just be explosive. Take that time. Write out your thoughts. Get a new notebook, and every morning date it and start to write out what is the thoughts of the day? What are some of the downloads that you can get for today? And stay and remain positive. That's my challenge, is that you will stay and remain positive. If you're using the word try, write it down and put a big red X through it. You don't try, you're doing. I will be tremendously successful with this. That's what I used to say in my early 20s. I will be tremendously successful with this, and nothing is going to get in my way. Now, I wasn't specific, but I had specifics written elsewhere. I didn't want to get into all the specifics with every single person that I met with as I went out to do what I did, which was meet with people to help people, expose them to something that we had found. Some people call it sales. I happen to hate sales, but you know what? I guess we're all, and then, by the way, that's the highest paid profession, sales. And we're all salespeople. You're going to have to sell your future spouse on you. You're going to have to sell your kids on why it's important to be righteous. You're going to have to sell your kids on the idea of why to be virgins until marriage if you're walking righteous. You're going to have to sell your employees and the people who work for you that you are looking for excellence. You're going to have, there's an element of selling in everything, but yet they earn the most money. We're going to have to be able to verbalize and then stay positive without allowing every wave of the sea to get you into a rut and stop focusing. So that's my challenge for you, is to focus on what it is that you're calling forth. Don't get swayed. If you get swayed and you find yourself in negative nilly land, guess what I want you to do at that point? Start again. I don't care if it's day 17. It's 30 days to create a habit. And for the next 30 days, I want you to have your card, and on the back, remember, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open to you. That's on the back of the card. On the front of the card, you're writing out these positive things, avoiding all negative like the plague. Avoiding negative people, because it doesn't matter. Remember with the strychnine, if my best friend put strychnine in my coffee, I'm going to die. We have to be careful who we're allowing to speak into our lives. Who is around us? We're going to guard our minds. That means guard your eye gates, your ear gates. What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you saying? Your mouth gate. We've got to be careful to guard over these things, because whatever we put in comes out. We become what we're surrounding ourselves with. Whatever we think about, we bring about. And how are we thinking? It's based on what we hear, see, and how we process. If we're processing properly, for example, as I said earlier, you're causing everything to be giving people the benefit of the doubt, giving situations the benefit of the doubt. Why? It's healthier for you. It's healthy. If you focus and you're gossiping and start over, day one. If these are bad habits that you've had over the years that you've developed, these are habits that have to go if you want success. And I will tell you that any type of compromise, complacency, mediocrity, you're not happy. You're not happy at mediocrity. You're happy when you're succeeding and you're going towards a purpose-driven life. To be driven by something that gets you excited, something, waking up and you're not hitting the alarm or the snooze. You're waking up. What is it for you? Well, you want a better body. You want to be in better shape. Maybe that's it. Well, maybe it's, I don't have time, and you make up all these excuses. There's reasons or results. Guess what? Even during a call like this, you're listening to calls every morning, for example, you could actually be listening and walking. Walk the dog. The dog's too fat too. Take him for a walk. Now you're out on this stroll. You're getting your body momentum. You're getting yourself in motion. It affects emotion. That's why it's part of the word. When we put ourselves in motion, it affects our emotional state. Walk tall. Be different. Stick out, stand out. Why? Because when you walk with this type of authority, you speak with this type of authority, start to see and vision yourself the way you want to see, and how will you be? How do you conduct yourself? How are you dressing? What is the way that you communicate with people? Are you making eye contact? These are the things that you'll find over the next 30 days. Re-listen to this every day. Watch what happens in the next 30 days. If you're not going to believe who you are. You're not going to believe it. Again, remember the deal though is, because today is March 8th, 2018. But the deal is, if you mess up on day 8, day 9, day 20, you'll start again. No one's watching, just you. I mean, God knows. But we've got to guard our gates, because what we become is a result of what we're seeing, what we envision, what we're calling forth. So with that, I hope that this message helps you today. I am a big believer in focus, getting yourself in a quiet place in the mornings where you can actually write things out. Make sure you have this card everywhere. You can write it and put it everywhere. And start to just call forth those things that are not yet as though they are. So you're speaking life and you say it to everyone. And then massive action. One more thing. Focus. We've got to be laser focused. If you want success, you can't be doing 14,000 different things. If you want success as something, there can't be that you're involved with this, that, and the other thing. And then you're doing everything haphazard and you're not doing anything excellent. There needs to be a focus. You need to give up to get. That's what it says, right? Do today what others won't, so you can have tomorrow what others don't have. You can do today what others won't, so you can do tomorrow what others can't. This is all part of success. Give up to get. Believe me, success is a process. It's not easy. It's simple. This is a simple message. I'm not going to say it's easy because of past habits, but it's simple. So I challenge you with that today. Go out and ask yourself today, who can I help today? I love you guys. I look forward to speaking to you again. Let's go out and change the world, because that's what we are, world changers. God bless everybody.